Hello, and thank you for joining us for this walkthrough of our current exhibition, Inspired by Nature. My name is Bradley Butler, and I am the Executive Director and Curator at Main Street Arts in Clifton Springs, New York. Inspired by Nature is a group invitational exhibition highlighting the work of 7 New York State artists working in sculpture, painting, and drawing, and includes the work of Sheila Barcik of Buffalo, Herrmann of Troy, Erika Medina from Spencer, Santy of Syracuse, Nancy Topolski and Julia J. Wolfe from Rochester, and Hanna Washburn from Beacon. Through drawing, painting, and sculpture, the artists included in this exhibition depict their own personal connections to the natural world, using abstraction and symbolism, and this collective body of work speaks to the human desire of understanding the world around us. This exhibition is made possible in part by the Rochester Area Community Foundation and the New York State Council on the Arts, with the support of the Office of the Governor and the New York State Legislature. So I'm going to be taking you on a walkthrough and showing you individual pieces by the artists in the show. And first, I'm just going to give you a general view of the exhibition before I kind of zoom in on individual works. So as I said, there are 7 artists included in this exhibition, and just like all of my favorite shows that we do, there's quite a variety. Drawing, painting, sculpture, but even within those, a lot of variety. But again, it all fits cohesively together in a great way. So if you have not been here yet, which many of you have not because it just opened this past Friday, definitely encourage you to visit this show in person. But these little walkthroughs are always good for just giving a little taste of the show. But if you can't make it in person, also it's a good placeholder for an in-person visit. So this exhibition came together starting with a call for work specific to the theme of being inspired by nature. And we had 153 artists submit, New York State artists submit their work, and then I chose the 7 artists we see here. And I do call this an invitational exhibition, even though it's somewhat like a juried show because people are submitting, but basically I'm inviting these artists based on the submissions that are received. So that's the way that the show came together. Some of these artists have shown their work at Main Street Arts before, but generally just 1 or 2 pieces at a time. So really excited to see a nice body of work from each person. So I'm going to give you another long shot of this room before I go into the next room there, and then we'll start looking at individual artists. So as you can see from this, that variety I was speaking of, even from one sculptor to another, even though they're using fiber and fabric, totally different. And same thing with the paintings in the show. And another great thing about this exhibition is it truly is across the broad region of upstate New York, and a little bit of, somewhat downstate as well in this show, but which I really love when we can highlight, a bulk of the region with the artists that we show here, because we do live in such a rich region for the arts. So it's really great to kind of highlight that. So I'm going to start looking at some of the artists' work individually and telling you a little bit about them. So I'm going to start with Buffalo artist Sheila Barcik. So she's got these paintings in the show. Sheila holds a BFA in design from Buffalo State and an MFA from University of Buffalo. And her work has been exhibited internationally, including Germany and Switzerland. And she is the recipient of the NIFA Fellowship in grants and residencies in Germany and the Helene Wurlitzer Foundation in Taos, New Mexico. The paintings in the show are all acrylic on canvas. All of them are untitled. And so Sheila says of her work, My work is about our existential and spiritual experiences in life. The themes in my work are energy, light, and the magic and power of nature. My intention is to create timeless, organic, often otherworldly landscape-like scenes. This imagery portrays the universal connection between humanity, nature, and the cosmos. So, and her work in the show, I would say varying degrees of abstraction for these landscape-type images. And it's really, that's what I really responded to when I saw the work, that even though there are, maybe either different parts of a series of work that's larger, or these may be different series altogether, they all relate well while giving really great contrast. So something like this, it could be mountainous, but also you can read it as, just texture and color. Really interesting. And then we'll look at another one, which is a little bit more naturalistic. Another small one over here. And I love the relationship between the work in the show. As I mentioned, the great kind of contrast and complementing that happens, but even just the simple color commonalities, like this orange here, and then we look over here, which we'll look at this in a little bit by Julia. The same color orange can be found, which is really fun for me when I'm laying out the show. So next we'll take a look at Allie Herrmann's work. And fun fact, Allie Herrmann was an artist in residence here back in 2018. And so she has these drawings in the show, in collage. So Allie Herrmann is a mixed media painter and science lover whose work explores cellular structures as an origin into her abstract paintings. Creating what she terms microbiome landscapes, Herrmann uses images as inspiration to explore concepts of blood, bacteria, and unicellular structures within her abstract paintings. So we'll take a look at a couple others of hers. All right, take a look right around here. And she says of her work, "My work is heavily influenced by the growth and decay of the natural world. I combine elements of representation and abstraction to create floating environments and cytoplasmic landscapes. Using repetition, color, and pattern, I attempt to further understand and interpret the natural rhythmic orders." So a lot of really cool detail, very expressive pieces in the show. And I really love the layering. When she was here as a resident, she was doing a lot with encaustic wax and has taught a couple of encaustic workshops here at Main Street Arts. We'll look at one more of hers. Go to this piece over here. And this one is called The Poetry Trail, which is a title that repeats a couple of times in the show. But just a great use of mixed media on paper. And the next artist is Erika Medina that we'll look at. And Erika, this is a piece by Erika called On Sacred Ground, and it's oil on canvas. Erika Medina is a painter and mixed media artist working in an off-the-grid studio at her home in Danby, New York. She works full-time as an artist, selling her work from galleries, art shows, and online venues. Her work can be found nationally and in numerous private collections. And she kind of has a couple different bodies of work represented in the show. There are a couple of paintings on either a panel or canvas, then some on paper, and then there are some cutout images as well out of wood. So we'll take a look at a cutout next here. One of my favorites of hers in the show. And this one is called Connected. And Erika says of her work, "I create paintings and mixed media figures that speak of our sacred connection to the natural world. I'm trying to capture the quiet clarity of awareness that offers us spiritual guidance from animals, birds, and all of nature, and to offer tribute to the elemental energies of Earth. So there are two pieces that are cutouts in this show. Before I go to the other one, I just want to point out that before we get to Penny Santy, who's the next artist we'll be looking at, just looking at this is one of my favorite things in the show, seeing the feet that are present in the bottom of Penny's painting, and then the absence of feet on Erika's figure. So I just really like that. Thought I'd share that. There's another cutout piece by Erika over here. This one is called Owl Guide. And again, with some, kind of mixed media elements, making this kind of a sculptural painting. And the bottom here is some charred wood. Really cool. So next, we will take a look at Penny Santy's work. And I'll go back over here. And Penny Santy, Penny's paintings express a response to the human experience in dialogue with nature. Her work has been exhibited across the Northeast, including Dacia Gallery, Memorial Art Gallery, Cape Cod Museum of Art, and represented by the Hamilton Center for the Arts. Penny earned a BFA from Syracuse University in 1988. And I really love the tall format of her paintings. There's 4 in the show. All oil on linen. Mixing, very abstracted views of nature, and then including the human form as well. And so Penny says, the idea of seeds from a milkweed pod floating off to start new life wherever it lands is such a hopeful allegory that can be fitting with some of the struggles that we encounter today concerning politics, climate, and people. I like the thought of nature presenting a way for understanding. And I think that is really central to the idea of this show, is not only just being inspired by nature to make artwork, but also to do what she says, to use nature as a way of understanding your place within the world. And we'll look at one other of hers over here. And here you can really see the milkweed pods that she mentions in her statement. All right, and then next we'll look at one of the work by one of the sculptors in the show. So Nancy Topolski. This piece is called Urchin, and this one, I love the shadow that's created by this piece, and also the kind of unexpected surprise that happens when you walk up to it, because as you walk up to it, you just kind of see, this spiky, very much like an urchin, like a sea urchin, and then you come around, and there's a little surprise inside. So very, very interesting. I always love it when there's something unexpected that you can kind of view something and have 2 different reactions to it. I think that's really interesting. So Nancy Topolski is a mixed media artist working primarily in needle felting. She has a BA in art from Bucknell University and an MS in special education from St. John Fisher College. She has been teaching and making art for a very long time, and she resides in Rochester, New York. Look at another piece of hers. This one is called Recovering. And there are 2 pieces in the show that are suspended from this metal structure like this. And she says, I make art in an effort to understand myself and the world around me. I often stand and stare and contemplate my surroundings. The layers, textures, and repetitive patterns found in nature intrigue me. I work intuitively, prioritizing process. The inherent qualities of the materials guide me in my making. And this piece is called Birdish. And all of her work, in this show at least, is felted wool and found materials. And just a lot of great subtle texture in the wool, which really gives it some warmth. And I love when you walk into the gallery, you've got these faces, these little faces staring at you. So that makes for an interesting welcome, I think. So the next artist we'll look at is Hanna Washburn. And we'll go over here to her piece called Weepy. And Hanna Washburn is an artist and curator based in Beacon, New York. She received her MFA in Fine Art from the School of Visual Arts in 2018, and her BFA in Fine Art and English Literature from Kenyon College in 2014. And Hanna says of her work, I build soft sculptural forms, capturing the contemplated joy of being inside a body. My hand-sewn sculptures fuse bodily imagery with flora and fauna, breaking down harmful hierarchies between humans and nature. The forms are in the process of growing and changing, lengthening forms and limbs, reaching out toward shared understanding. So you can see in all of her work is made with recycled textiles, thread, batting, found objects. Some pieces have ceramic in them. So a couple of my favorites of hers are in the first room here. This one here, it's called Sweet Tendrils, and it's got that ceramic piece holding all of these soft pieces here. And then this one over here called Growing Pains. Kind of a spinal rib cage kind of thing going on, and all these great layers. And again, a cool shadow. All right, so then we'll look at the last artist in the show, and we'll start with one of her smaller pieces, different from the other two. And this one is called Where the Ground is Still Warm, and the artist is Julia J. Wolfe. So this piece is an ink, gouache, and monoprint on foil and found paper. So Julia J. Wolfe is a multidisciplinary artist currently based in Rochester, New York. She earned her MFA from University of Iowa, BA from Rhodes College, and post-baccalaureate certificate from Brandeis University. Her work has been nationally exhibited and published in Studio Visit Magazine and New American Paintings. And let's see if I'm going here next. And so Julia says of her work, my work draws primarily from the American landscape, layering imagery of nature and mass production with a childlike and whimsical aesthetic. By combining comedy, satire, and whimsy with a mishmash of weightier subjects, the viewer is invited to escape into these semi-familiar playground-esque worlds and find both delight and critique. And the two paintings in the show that we have, this one is called 6 a.m. to Sunset. And so both of them are unstretched canvas. And this one you can see the raw canvas showing, and that ends up being kind of the top half of the painting. But really great line work, and I love how, the plant life that she's got going on here references some of the other artists' work. Again, a really fun thing for me when I installed the show. A lot of options on where things would go. And then we'll look at her third piece in the show, another big one on unstretched canvas. And this one is called Yesterday. And these are acrylic on canvas. But a lot going on. And I love the scale to kind of break up the exhibition as well. It's really great to have such a variety of scale in the show. So this exhibition runs through Wednesday, September 13th, and we are open Tuesday through Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Be sure to visit our website, mainstreetartscs.org, to view photographs of the exhibition, and you can also preview and purchase works by each of the artists. And also, I'd like to have you mark your calendar for an online artist talk with the artists in this exhibition. That will be Tuesday, August 29th at 5:30, and that'll be live on Facebook. And in addition to the show that you just saw, when you come to Main Street Arts, you can also see work in our Stairwell Gallery. Right now we have work by Sam Fratto. Sam was an artist in residence here at Main Street Arts in 2019. So you can see some really great drawings by Sam in the stairwell. I'll show you a couple here. Many of them of his wife Gina, who was also an artist in residence that same year. And some of them feature a cat named Hobbs. And some feature Gina and Hobbs. So it's an exciting way to connect the bottom floor with the top floor to have artwork leading you all the way up. So definitely come and check that out. So thanks again for watching this walkthrough, and we hope to see you soon in person. And if not, then just keep watching this until you feel like you've seen the show in person. Thanks a lot.